All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome. And thanks for coming for this first, I don't know if I should call it an episode or not, but we're going to talk about St. Luke because that's going to be our new release that's releasing on February 1st. All right. So in this video, we said that this sock is going to release on the 1st. What I actually meant to say is the 3rd. So it's February 3rd, Monday, not the 1st. So when you hear the 1st a couple times in this video, it's actually the 3rd. All right. Thanks. Really excited about this because it's been a long time coming. My wife went to St. Luke Catholic School. We have so many people that have requested this for years and years. It's been on the list for a long time, but joining me today is Ricki Gibson. Ricki is our senior graphic artist, and she is more often than not the person that does the illustrations for the beautiful socks that we make. So
yes. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I wanted to chat today and just talk a little bit about how does this process look like? So that's one of the questions I get asked so frequently is how do we decide what to put on the socks?
So it's a lot of research, honestly, and it's probably my favorite part. I love a deep dive. It doesn't matter what it is. Mm-hmm. I will just dive right in. And so when it comes to the saints, I just try and pull from every source that I possibly can. I'll listen to podcasts. I'll look at YouTube videos. I go to a million different websites, and I read so many different biographies. And actually, one of my favorite places are schools.
Oh, really?
Because schools...
Church bulletin covers?
No, because schools, if it's their patrons of the school, usually they put a really, really good, robust, little about us page or about our patron page.
They've already done the deep dive, so you're deep diving the deep dives.
A little bit, and sometimes they'll put the most random things that you might not find because it's important to them and their story at their school, their church's school. And so I'm always kind of intrigued. I'm like, what? I always fact check, don't worry. But for the most part, those are usually really well thought out and they're reviewed a decent amount. At least when I used to work in Catholic schools, they were reviewed a decent amount. So that's one of my favorite places. And then after I kind of learn about them, their lives, I really dive into traditional iconography of what you generally see.
Like this?
Yes. Well, traditional icons, but also just paintings. Basically, when somebody thinks St. Luke, what are their first thoughts? What comes to their mind? What do they see? And so you want to take that and boil it down to the most basic essence because there's a lot of different ways you can see things and they might have these one-offs that are kind of strange paintings and you're like, what? That's St. Luke? I mean, it's cool, but nobody's going to look at that and go, that's St. Luke.
Right.
So you want to make sure that what you're depicting the saint with are things that they're well known for. Like when we did St. Blaise, he had to have his candles, you know, because that's how you're going to know, oh, that's St. Blaise. So I
remember that like some of these first century saints, there's not a lot of pictures of them. It's not like we can go back and just look at a historical archive of photos that were taken of these saints.
It's true.
I remember that with St. Christopher. There's just not a lot of imagery with St. Christopher. Yeah. But you have to be able to find something that when somebody sees that sock, they say, that's St. Luke.
Yeah. It's not like, a Bakita, because Bakita had actual photographic evidence.
Right.
It was a photograph, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. It was a photograph. Cut that.
Fact check.
Fact check, cut that. I'm pretty sure it was photographs I looked at. But, it is. They kind of have, similar looks to them. But also depending on region, sometimes they'll have brown hair, sometimes they'll have blonde hair. And so just kind of narrowing them down also is really good. And then when I draw them, I also take their ethnic background into account. So when we were doing St. Monica, she's a Moroccan woman. So I looked at lots of different facial features of women from Morocco. And I kind of used those to infuse that into her to make sure that she was really represented the way that she should be.
That's awesome. Okay, so St. Luke.
Yes.
What are some nuggets from this design? Because one of the fun things that we always like to do is put little kind of nuggets in the sock so that way when somebody sees the sock, they have the opportunity to share a little bit about the saint.
Yes. So one of my favorite things about the evangelists is that they are always on the ceilings of cathedrals. And they're always in their kind of animal forms. And, well, there's one that's a human.
Yeah.
But Luke is the winged ox. And so usually if you look up at like a rotunda or something, you'll see like the 4 evangelists, usually like in these little corners tucked away, but they're looking down at you. It's not supposed to be a creepy, I'm watching you. It's supposed to be like a reminder of, you know, salvation. It's good things. They're good things. But sometimes it feels a little like they're staring at you. So I feel like every time you want to see the evangelist, you look up. And so I really took a lot of inspiration from all of these different ceilings of cathedrals, especially throughout Europe, the ones that specifically had the 4 evangelists. And I kind of took some of the designs from those and I infused those into the sock design this time. So
That's awesome. Was there anything that was hard about this sock?
yes, I felt because your wife is so like invested. Honestly, I was like, man, I really got to make sure I do a good job for Elizabeth. I want to make sure that she can really like it and feel proud. And I didn't want it to be, you know, just like, oh, it's a doctor sock, you know. So I didn't want it to be too much like, here's a stethoscope, because I feel like that really kind of boils it down to a niche. Because he's not just a physician, you know, he's a writer, he's an artist, which is my favorite part. So I wanted it to be more broad and accepting. So I did feel like this one took me a little bit longer to try and find something that was more all-encompassing and lots of people could appreciate, so that it wasn't just a, yay, I'm a doctor, I like my doctor sock.
All right. So February 1st, we're releasing Saint Luke the Evangelist. Thanks for joining me, Ricki.
Thanks.